The morning felt like any other. The kettle hummed, the fridge clicked shut, and Amanda stood at the counter sipping one of those green smoothies she'd been obsessed with lately. Samuel, still groggy from last night's system upgrade at work, reached for his coffee mug when she spoke. "I think we're done," Amanda said, not looking up from her glass. Samuel froze mid-pour. The silence stretched. "Done with what?" he asked, though he already knew. "Our marriage," she replied flatly, as if she were canceling a subscription. "I've changed, Sam. I'm not the same woman I was when we met." He studied her, toned arms, designer leggings, a glow of new confidence that hadn't always been there. Ever since she joined that luxury gym downtown, Amanda had been different. Healthier, yes, but also colder, sharper, less present. "I see," Samuel said quietly. He didn't cry, didn't beg, just nodded and took a long sip of black coffee, trying to make sense of how 7 years could collapse in a single sentence over the hum of a smoothie blender. Amanda left 3 days later with 2 suitcases and a yoga mat slung over her shoulder. "It's not personal," she said at the door. "I've just outgrown this version of life. The routines, the comfort zones, it's not me anymore." Samuel didn't argue. He just watched her walk away, still half expecting her to turn back. She didn't. The next week, an envelope arrived, divorce papers. Inside was a formal letter from Amanda's lawyer, Jack, outlining her demands: full ownership of the house, monthly spousal support, and half of Samuel's personal savings. Samuel blinked at the document, stunned. Amanda had a solid career in marketing, made almost as much as him, some months even more. She didn't need support. She wanted leverage. Shaking off the disbelief, he booked a meeting with a local attorney named Alexander. Calm and measured, Alexander reviewed the papers and leaned back in his chair. "She's not asking for a clean break," he said. "She's asking for a reward." Samuel nodded slowly. "Then I guess I'm not giving her one." The mediation room smelled faintly of coffee and stale carpet, but Amanda walked in like it was a red carpet event. Tight-fitting dress, freshly styled hair, heels that clicked with precision. Her eyes skimmed Samuel like he was background noise. "Well," she said, taking her seat, "looks like some people don't evolve." Samuel didn't react. He wore a simple button-down shirt, clean-shaven, composed. Let her posture and preen. He wasn't here to perform. The mediator ran through formalities, but Amanda kept slipping in comments. "You could have done more with your life, you know. Settled for comfort instead of ambition." Samuel gave no fuel to her fire. He just listened and noted. Afterwards, he went home and opened a folder on his laptop. Amanda, behavior log. He uploaded screenshots, emails, texts, even passive-aggressive notes she'd left behind. One read, "Maybe it's time you hit the gym too." Samuel saved it all. If Amanda thought he'd roll over quietly, she was about to meet a version of him she never saw coming. It started with a message from an old mutual friend. "Hey, just thought you should know. Amanda's been showing off some new guy." His name was Henry. Tall, sculpted, always in designer sneakers. The kind of man who talked louder when other people were listening. Samuel didn't need to stalk her socials. Word spread on its own. Amanda wasn't hiding it. Dinner dates, weekend trips, a gym-sponsored rooftop party. "She keeps calling her glow-up era," one friend said. Told Ashley she finally upgraded. Samuel stared at the screenshot for a long time. "I'm finally living how I should have. Henry gets it. I wasted too many years playing house with Sam." Amanda to Ashley. He printed it, filed it. She thought she'd rewritten the past, painted herself as a victim of mediocrity. But Samuel had the receipts, literal and emotional. Her texts weren't just careless, they revealed a mindset. She wasn't escaping a bad marriage. She was marketing herself for a better deal. At the next hearing, Jack, the smooth-talking lawyer Amanda hired, put on a performance worthy of a courtroom drama. He spoke of lost youth, emotional investment, and how Amanda had put her own ambitions on hold to build a life with Samuel. She supported his comfort, Jack said. Now that she's growing, She deserves to thrive fairly. Samuel sat still, jaw tight. Alexander leaned over and whispered, "Don't worry. Now it's our turn." When it was, Alexander stood and dismantled the fantasy. He showed Amanda's recent bank statements, highlighting her increased consulting income, at times surpassing Samuel's. Then came her gym schedule. For days a week, midday personal trainer sessions, booked independently without any resistance from Samuel. Finally, Alexander handed the judge a folder titled Personal Motive Evidence. Inside were the texts to Ashley. The phrase "upgrade my life" was underlined in bold. "If this marriage was such a prison," Alexander said calmly, "she seemed remarkably free to decorate the cell." Amanda didn't meet anyone's eyes. The email came on a Tuesday morning. "Suspicious activity detected on your joint credit account." Samuel opened the alert and blinked. A weekend spa resort in the mountains. Luxury suite. Couples massage. Champagne welcome. He hadn't booked a thing. He forwarded the alert to Alexander and called the bank to freeze the card. Amanda had barely used that account in years, but technically, her name was still on it. A legal gray area she clearly knew how to exploit. When questioned in court, Amanda shrugged, all wide eyes and innocence. "I thought it was on my own card. Just a mistake." Judge Jacob flipped through the credit statements silently. Then his eyes narrowed, and he looked over his glasses at Amanda. Alexander leaned over to Samuel and whispered, "Judges hate this kind of thing." Samuel said nothing. He didn't need to. Amanda's games were starting to stink, and the courtroom could smell it. Amanda took the stand with a carefully composed face and practiced sighs. Her voice softened as she described a marriage filled with emotional stagnation and lack of personal growth. She painted Samuel as well-meaning but uninspired, a man who never matched her evolving energy. Judge Jacob listened patiently. Then Alexander stood. "Did Samuel ever prevent you from going to the gym?" "No," Amanda said, hesitating. "From changing jobs? Seeing friends? Starting your consulting work?" Again, no. "Were you, at any point, financially dependent on him?" "No." Alexander handed the bailiff a packet. Inside, printed texts and screenshots. He read aloud. Finally hot enough to get a real catch. "Sam was a placeholder. I'm done pretending." Amanda's face paled. "Those were jokes," she stammered. Venting, Judge Jacob raised a brow. "Some jokes say more than you intend." The courtroom sat in silence. Whatever mask Amanda had worn into that courtroom, it had just cracked wide open. Just when Amanda seemed to regain her composure, a surprise motion landed on the judge's bench, submitted by Alexander. It was a sworn statement from Henry. In neat, formal language, Henry admitted that he and Amanda had discussed a future together. Marriage, shared finances, even plans to renovate the house she was expecting to win. He said he was blindsided when she told him the assets weren't guaranteed. The courtroom stirred. Amanda's face drained of color. Judge Jacob scanned the document, then looked up slowly. "So, while seeking spousal support and property, you were planning your next wedding?" Amanda opened her mouth, then closed it again. "It wasn't serious," she finally said. "We were just talking." Alexander didn't need to say a word. The statement said enough. The narrative of a wronged wife had unraveled. What remained was a portrait of calculation, clear enough for the court to see. And for Amanda, there was no rewinding now. The hallway outside the courtroom was quiet, the tension still lingering in the air. Amanda stepped out, heels clicking slower now. Her eyes were red, mascara smudged just slightly. She walked up to Samuel, voice trembling. "I never thought it would go this far," she whispered. "I got caught up in everything, the gym, the attention, the idea of starting fresh. I didn't mean to hurt you like this." Samuel looked at her, calm and steady. "But you did." "I was confused," she said, reaching for his arm. "Maybe we don't have to finish this. We can talk. Fix things." Samuel gently pulled away. "You filed the papers. I just signed them." She blinked, stunned by the finality in his voice. "No bitterness. No drama," he added. Just truth. Amanda opened her mouth to respond, but there was nothing left to say. Not anymore. The ruling was swift and final. Amanda walked away with only what the law allowed: half the house equity, no spousal support, and a court order to reimburse Samuel for the credit card stunt. Her demands had collapsed under their own weight. Henry, the man who once cheered her glow up, vanished quietly after the verdict. No more rooftop dates. No more Instagram-worthy weekends. Just silence. Samuel didn't celebrate. He sold the house, too many echoes in the walls, and bought a modest condo on the edge of town. Fewer rooms, less noise, more light. He kept his job, kept his calm, and started cooking again. Alone but not lonely. One evening, sipping tea on his new balcony, he thought about everything Amanda had said, that she'd changed, that she wanted more. He looked out at the quiet street below and smiled to himself. Some people change for the better, he murmured. Some just change. And with that, he turned the page, grateful not for what was lost, but for what he refused to lose: himself. Speech balloon. Have you ever seen someone lose everything because they thought they deserved more? What would you have done in Samuel's place? Tell us in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if this story made you think.